Hello, good morning. How the heck are ya? Welcome to my greenhouse, and as always, happy coffee. So, the Baker Creek Tulip Festival was over the weekend. It was on Sunday and Monday. Don't know why they do it on a Sunday and a Monday. Ask them. I don't know. So it was on Sunday and Monday. So on Sunday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, me and my love bug and my mom left my house here in southern Missouri and drove about 2 hours northwest to Mansfield, Missouri, where the Baker Creek Seed Company is. They have a little pioneer village that has a restaurant and a seed store and some like artisan shops. There's like an apothecary and things like that. They have a really old car and a lot of just really nicely landscaped land, basically a big old farm. So we got there around 4 o'clock in the morning, sat in line for 2 hours, well, 2.5 hours. They were a little late. They were supposed to let us in at 6. We didn't start going in the venue until about 6:30, 6:45. So we sat in line for about 2.5 hours. We only had 15 minutes to get our car to where we were setting up, get everything out of the vehicles, and then take the cars out of the venue so that other people had room to come in. So we took 15 minutes to get everything out of the cars, and then about another hour to get everything set up and the tables moved around and things placed nicely out to where people would enjoy looking at them. I brought a ton of plants and an entire trunk full of bread. Now, I have a small car, so a trunk full might not seem like a lot, but for how small my car is, my trunk is huge. Probably 6 of me could fit laying down in my trunk, maybe even 7 if we squished. So I had deeper than a foot of bread in my trunk. It was mostly artisan sourdough loaves and focaccia sourdough loaves, also some baked goods like banana bread and chocolate chip cookies and sugar cookies and muffins and blueberry scones, strawberry scones, lots of things like that. Lots of baked goods and lots of plants. That's what I brought. That's what I was selling. So my focaccia bread sold out within the first 3 hours of the first day of the festival. So that was gone. My sourdough bread loaves also sold out. And most of my scones got sold. I came back with quite a few sourdough English muffins and quite a few regular muffins and some bread, and I've just been selling that around my town. I've been putting them in like little brown paper bags, and I took one to the gas station yesterday and was like, Sarah, because Sarah is the gas station attendant's name. Everybody knows each other here. I live in a really small town. So I was like, Sarah, you want this? It's a whole bag of baked goods, sourdough English muffins, $25. So she paid me for that, and I left it with her. I'm sure she shared with the other people at the gas station. And also, we have a friend who lives just a couple blocks down the street, and it's a house full of boys down there. Of course they want some baked goods. So I just went and left it on their table and was like, if you guys feel like you want to buy this, buy it. $25. So now I've made another $50 just by being back here. I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about the actual cost of vending at a festival like that. Because you'd think like, oh, the gas to get there and then pay your booth fee and that's it. But realistically, if you think about the things that I actually had to purchase and the time that I had to take to put those things into place, I spent just monetarily about $800 between December and now to buy all of the soil, all of these little cloth fabric bags. I bought nice bread bags to put the bread in to keep it, sanitary and also looking nice. I had to buy multiple bags of soil just to fill the pots. That's not even including all the time that I have spent, like, taking care of all these plants and stuff. At least an hour every single day since I planted them. And all of that really does add up. So I literally spent, like monetary, $800-ish. So my goal at the festival was to at least just make back the money that I spent. And I did that. I actually almost perfectly did that, a little bit over. So on the first day, I said I sold out of my focaccia bread, sold quite a few plants, quite a few sourdough loaves, lots of muffins and things like that. I made $540 on the first day, and that was on Sunday. Then Monday, it was much, much slower. Way less people. The solar eclipse was going on, which was really cool. We had like a pause in the festival for the eclipse, but there was just probably 1/4 the amount of people on the second day. So on the second day, I only made like $400. But that in total puts me at like $940, which is an extra $140 on top of what I spent. So the extra money on top of what I made back is what paid for my gas and also anything that I wanted to buy at the festival. For example, Baker Creek seed shirt. Love that. I didn't buy this actually. My mom bought this for me. We bought a few things. I bought a lemon lime maranta. I will put a picture of it up here somewhere. So I got a house plant. We got this little 3D printed stash box like turtle thing. There was some really nice knives that we were looking at, really nice glassware that we were looking at. My love bug described it perfectly. He wasn't there with me the whole time. He had to come back and work, but he left our house and came to the festival. He showed up at about 5 p.m. on Monday, so he had a couple hours to just walk around the festival with me and see what was going on. And he described it perfectly. He said, this is basically like if you were walking through a real life Etsy. So like there's tents full of people and each person has only a 10 by 10 booth just filled with the most random beautiful things that you've ever seen. It literally is as if each person had their own Etsy store and just brought their items to the festival. It's really, really cool. I really enjoy being there. Everyone was really, really nice. There's only one person that said anything remotely rude. He didn't even speak directly to me. He walked by my booth, looked at my bread, and was like, sourdough bread? Bet it's from Harps. Harps is the local grocery store around here. So, like, on one hand, he's saying, like, I bet she bought that bread to sell it here. Which I didn't. I made it. All myself. But secondarily, that's kind of a compliment, because, like, he's saying my bread looked good enough to be in a grocery store, so, like, I wasn't even mad. He just kept walking. I ignored him, and it was fine. But most of the people were really, really nice. There was a couple really funny people. This one old couple came up, and the man wanted to buy all of my bread. He probably would have bought all of it if his wife left him. So he tallied up the breads that he just wanted to have. And I told him, like, that'll be like $27 or whatever it was. It was just under $30. And the wife was like, you do not need that much bread. And he was like, but I'm a sucker for homemade stuff. And she was like, you eat so much bread. We have so much bread. And he was like, but it's not this bread. So that couple actually came back to my booth 3 separate times until he finally bought some bread. And he actually bought a full loaf of bread, and I had been selling them in slices. So I gave him a little bit of a deal, and he was really funny and entertaining. He was haggling with me, the only person there that haggled with me, so I gave him a little bit of a deal. I sold him an entire loaf of pumpkin bread for $12, but I was selling 2 slices of pumpkin bread for $5. So really, he got that bread for a little less than half price. The first day of the festival was actually so busy that I didn't even get to see the speaker that I wanted to see. It was Wendy Fan. I don't know how to say her last name. But she has a YouTube channel, and I hadn't followed her until I saw her on the speaker list for Baker Creek, and I went and found her and followed her. But I didn't get to watch her speak because it was super, super busy at that point on the first day. She was speaking at like 2 p.m. on the first day, and that was like the biggest rush of customers that we had the whole time, so I just didn't feel right leaving my mom to deal with all the customers and me going to watch someone speak. So yeah, basically I spent $800 to get there and be there, plus all my time obviously, but the time I feel like I was just giving for free. I'm taking care of plants, and that's something that I love doing anyway. Like, I'm gonna be doing it regardless. It was just more plants than it had been previously. But monetarily wise, I spent around $800 to make that happen for myself. and I made back almost exactly as much as I needed, a little bit more, to feel like it was a worthwhile endeavor for me. I do have to go to work this morning, but I just wanted to come out here and talk to you guys and tell you a little about the festival and then give you a little show around, because the garden is beautiful right now. Even though they're not like newly planted things, a lot of things are flowering and it's gorgeous. And then also the tables that my love bug made me for the festival are now doubling as my greenhouse tables, so I thought you guys would want to see that. So these red trays are actually those big like bread trays. When companies deliver bread to like grocery stores and stuff, they come on these big old trays. So that's actually bread trays, and they are just screwed to, like, these are 1x4s, and these are like some metal posts and some, I don't know, what is that, like a 2x3? That one's weird, I don't know. It's all just made out of scrap wood from around my mom's property. And then when we transported them, they were flipped upside down, so they're actually deep, like that's about how deep they are, and they were flipped upside down so that the plants were sitting inside of this so that they couldn't shift on the way to the festival. But when I got to the festival, I flipped them over like this and used them as like display tables, which is exactly how I'm doing in here. And I went to the festival with a lot of plants, and I came back with a lot of plants, but I came back with quite a few less plants than I went with. So these are all of the big tomatoes that you guys are used to seeing inside in the grow tent. They're starting to flower, multiple of them. Little clusters of flowers. Here's a little flower. There's one. And these tomatoes are at the point where I'm probably just going to let them flower. I'm going to put these I'm going to choose the tomatoes that I want for my garden and put them in within the next couple weeks probably. Technically, we could still get frost up to the middle of April, but I really don't think we will, with how the weather has been just acting in general right now. I'm not very worried about frost. These are nasturtiums down here. We've got bells of Ireland. I'm really excited about all the new types of flowers that I'm growing this year. We've got sunflowers, dwarf tomatoes. This is chamomile. We've got thyme, oregano, my one rosemary that grew. Actually, I had two, but not rosemary. My one lavender that grew. I actually had 3, but 2 people bought one at the festival. So I'm down to just 1, which is perfect. That's all I need. This is all triple curled parsley. We've got emerald everleaf basil, Genovese basil, coreopsis, more nasturtium. This is amaranth. Lots of zinnias. Down here we've got cherry tomatoes and tomatillos, cilantro, more flowers. Those are chives. Over here, the blackberries from my parents are starting to grow. This one is even putting up another cane. This is the one I planted, and this one's coming up. This one also. This is the cane that I planted, and this one's coming up. So pretty soon, maybe even this year, these ones still need to be planted individually, but they're doing okay for right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. Those ones are doing beautifully. Maybe even this year I will get some blackberries. That'll be amazing. These over here are cosmos. This is a zinnia. It just didn't have a spot in the zinnia tray. This is my love in a mist planting. Most of them didn't work out. This right here is a pansy, the only one of the pansies that came up. And I guess these 3 plants are the only love in a mist that came up. Then right here, we've got primrose, and only 1 of those came up, and that's a maybe. Like, I think that's a primrose, I'm not 100% sure. This is my tray of rosemary, of which only these 2 came up, so at least I have 2 for me. And then right here is catnip and lemon balm that I recently had to reseed, so it looks like the lemon balm is just starting to come up, and I have a lot more catnips coming up, so that means the germination was much better this time around. But these do need water, and this is the only mature plant, and I think that's catnip. I'm not really sure, because like if this is catnip, then that's not. What is that? I don't know. We'll leave it and see. Okay guys, heading out to the garden. all on this, what I call the toadstool table, is all of my peppers. I sold quite a few peppers at the festival. People were pretty interested in them, so that's good. And this is just everything that is left. Down here is just some onions and kale. Hopefully those onions still bulb out because they've been in those pots for way too long. Here is my wild garden right now. It's so gorgeous though. I really do love it when it looks this way. So we've got over here just some kale. Look, this is what the squirrels do. They take little tree nuts and they dig and plant them in my garden. And then I have to pluck them out. And they plant them deep in there. Like, I didn't even get it all. Little jerks. So as we come around here, we've got a big old oregano bush. We've got some pansies going wild. This is more kale. This is kale and some pansies that I started from seed. We've got strawberries blooming. Look at that. Got strawberries also not blooming. The cabbage that needs to come out, but with this pansy is so covered in flowers. My garlic is doing really good, especially since I fertilized it. This is my river flower. We went to the river last summer and I saw this there and I loved the way that they twisted open. See that? How they're like spiraled together and they kind of open like that, like untwist. Here's like a partially opened one. So pretty. I didn't know if it would come back, if it was a perennial or not, but apparently it is, and I'm very happy. Look how gorgeous that is. If anybody knows what that is, please let me know, because I have no idea. I live in Missouri, so probably maybe Missouri native. Right here we've got another oregano bush with some soon-to-be flowering cabbage. I've just been letting all the cabbages and stuff flower because it's going to attract pollinators anyway, and it's not like I'm just doing anything for me. So here's another one. This is a Brussels sprout that has flowered actually. This giant garlic. It's looking good, way better looking than my garlic last year. My chocolate mint is starting to come back. In this bed over here, both of these lettuces got really frost damaged and died, and I didn't think they would come back, but they did. We have a kale and then another pansy over here. Grass next to my containers is getting really tall. I'm gonna have to mow that soon. This is my volunteer sunflower. What is this? This is the same plant that's in that catnip inside. There's no way that's catnip. That has to be a weed. I'm gonna pull that out of the inside one. Darn. But this is a volunteer sunflower. I don't know if it is a lemon queen or a mammoth gray stripe or a Hopi black dye. Because, like I said, it's a volunteer. I didn't plant it here, but I had 3 different kinds of sunflowers in the garden last year, so could be any of those. Right here we have another, or the same oregano bush from the other side. There's a parsley under there that I didn't actually realize. Got more pansies, more strawberries. These are some really old carrots that are super woody and inedible. I mean, you could eat them, but they don't taste very good. And they're very woody, like I said. It's like trying to chew on a branch. Nothing in these 2 containers. We've got the biggest parsley bush ever. Right here is a broccoli that is flowering with another oregano bush. This is a dwarf snapdragon that is just starting to flower. I am so excited for that. It's parsley and another spent cabbage. Hi, little flowers. Here's another lettuce that got terribly frost damaged, and I really thought it was going to die, but it did not. And some more pansies. These are Brushstrokes Viola pansies from Baker Creek that I started from seed in the fall. So those are doing great. So yeah, that's just a little overview of my wild and wayward garden right now. It is about that time. Probably next week I'll spend a few days cleaning it out getting all of the plants out that need to go. And then the next week I will spend planting it out, putting in tomatoes and peppers, hopefully. Still, technically, we could get some frost, but I really don't think we're going to. Okay, you guys. That is about all that I had to share with you this morning. I just wanted to show you how the garden was doing and talk to you a little bit about how the festival went. I am very excited for this growing season to be here. It's basically here. It's so warm in my greenhouse and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning, so that means it's planting time. And I love planting time. I need to direct sow some carrots and get started on some cucumbers and things like that. I'm probably going to try and sell quite a few of the plants in here because that's way more tomatoes than I need for just my garden. That's way more than I need. And then that'll make me back even more money. Okay, everyone, I have to go finish getting ready for work and head out for the day, but I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you're having an amazing spring so far, and I'll catch you all in the next one.